government took my video games. Greetings! Today I am talking about how Outlast 2 is fucking banned. Why? Again. So, in case video game wise you've been hiding under a rock, Australia is notorious for not allowing video games to be across the border, if you will. They did it with Mortal Kombat 9, they did it with Hotline Miami 2, and a while ago, that really shitty game Manhunt.
You must understand, Cash. I could never let them go.
Now, the main reason for this was because the Australian Classification Board did not have an R18 plus rating for video games, so anything that would be determined to be under the classification of R18 plus would be banned because we didn't have one. Eventually, they wised the fuck up and decided maybe we should do that because everywhere else has it except here. And we got an R18 plus rating for video games. Now you might be curious, if you have the R18 plus rating for video games, why would you have any banned games still? I don't understand. Apparently, this board is run by senile old men who don't even know what a movie is, let alone a video game. And they don't understand that if a rating is R18+, it's intended for adult audiences. But apparently, adults don't deserve the right to choose what they find appropriate. We'll get more into that shortly because, oh, trust me, we're gonna get into that. So, a game I was very much looking forward to, Outlast 2, has been banned in Australia. The classification board has deemed it RC, which I can't remember what the fuck that stands for, which means that it has been refused classification. So essentially, you're not good enough. I wanted to play that game. So, for those of you who are not aware of refused classification, it pretty much is the game is not allowed to be sold in Australia. In some instances, I don't know if this is still the case, but this was the instance with Mortal Kombat 9 before we got the R18 plus rating. If they managed to intercept it at the airport, you could be fined for importing a banned game. I think that's true. I'm gonna fucking Google that. Apparently some people got fined. I don't know if this is legitimate or not. But customs did intercept the parcels and declare them illegal items and, you know, pretty much just fucking burn them. More likely, they probably took them home to their loved ones and played it themselves, but, you know, we can't all be winners here. But the true winner is customs. So, if we pop on over to the Australian Classification website, www.classification.gov.au, I know, it's quite beautiful, we can find the post for Outlast 2 and why it was refused classification. So as you can see, the reason this was refused classification is the computer game is classified RC in accordance with the National Classification Code Computer Games Table as computer games that depict, express, or otherwise deal with matters of sex, drug misuse or addiction, crime, cruelty, violence, or revolting or abhorrent phenomena in such a way that they offend against the standards of morality, decency, and propriety generally accepted by reasonable adults to the extent that they should not be classified. Now, the key word there that stood out to me personally was reasonable adults. So pretty much what I can ascertain from that is that they refuse classification on the pure fact of their subjective opinion of the video game. And apparently, I'm not a reasonable adult because I think this game should be allowed. Essentially what they're doing is saying anyone who disagrees with us is not reasonable. And I think that's kind of a weird thing to put in a description on a government website. You can reasonably suck my nuts. So, if we head on over to kotaku.au, we get a more in-depth description on why they decided the game was not to be allowed in my lovely country, which I am, at the moment, very happy to be in. His vision blurring. He witnesses what appears to be a ritualistic orgy. His wife, Lynn, calls out for help, saying, "It hurts, oh God," as she hangs from chains on a raised platform at the front of the clearing. Humanoid creatures, their skin grey, splattered with blood and scarring, implicitly have sex as other prey or chant or gesticulate. So pretty much it's implied, just reading through this, that there's a lot of sex and orgies happening. I'm not going to read all of it because I'm very bad at reading, so we'll just skip to the juicy stuff. Although much of the contact between the creature and Blake is obscured by it taking place below screen, the sexualized surroundings and aggressive behavior of the creature suggest that it is an assault, which is in sexual nature. The board is of the opinion that, combined with Blake's objections and distress, constitutes a depiction of implied sexual violence. In the board's opinion, the above example constitutes a depiction of implied sexual violence and therefore cannot be accommodated with the R18 plus classification category, and the game is therefore refused classification. So pretty much, they have decided, purely by opinion, it even says so, by the board's opinion, opinion. This is my opinion. You're a bunch of cunts. So apparently, the board thinks that implied sexual violence, let's all call it what it is. Our character Blake, and perhaps his wife, we don't know, are victims of rape. Now, if we go ahead and scroll all the way to the top of this paragraph, it says that a woman blows psychoactive dust into his face, which leads me to believe that this scene is a hallucination. It may not be. I don't know. I haven't played the game. I guess I'm never going to now. So, not only is it implied, it's not exactly shown, it is also very possibly not real. Now, that's fine. If you believe that, if you think that that doesn't deserve an R18 rating, you're stupid, but that's fine. Now, the bit that rubs me wrong the most is that you say that implied sexual violence is not worthy of an R18 classification. Right. Now, I know you mean rape, but did you play the first game? You almost get your dick cut off. In the demo of Outlast 2, you do get your dick cut off. I can think of many games that you have let through the gate that do exactly what you're saying is not good enough. At the end of Fear 2 Project Origin, your character is raped by a ghost, and in the third game it is confirmed because she is pregnant. So apparently that's okay, but this is not. So the people at the classification board have dictated and put their foot down and said, reasonable adults are not allowed to see this. Fuck you. At the beginning of this month, I saw a movie called Don't Breathe. I bought it. I thought it was a very good movie. There is implied sexual violence in that movie. Very, very underlyingly creepy implied sexual violence. Now, in the movie, spoiler alert, in the movie, a man rips a woman's pants off and begins to inject her personal bits with his seed through a turkey baster. That's sexual violence, correct? I'm not misinterpreting that. But I'm able to determine that that is fiction, and I'm not going to take that as a documentary. This is a video game. It is less real than a movie. In a video game, everything is computer generated. Why are you all of a sudden saying video games don't deserve the same grading system as a movie? Apparently sexual violence is allowed in cinema, but not in games. I understand that the board's constant criticism of this argument is that you are interacting in a video game, but the way I read this is a cutscene. So essentially you have banned a movie in a video game. So there is no interaction with this, so your argument falls flat. I also would like to point out that it's a fucking video game. I know it's not real. Personally, I've been playing video games since I was about 5, so I think I can tell what's on the screen is not what's happening in reality. When I play Spyro the Dragon, I don't think dragons are real. I don't think there is a purple dragon running around looking for his frozen in emerald stone friends. That would be ridiculous, and if you don't think I'm a reasonable adult for thinking that, well, perhaps you aren't. So in case you haven't been able to tell by now, this entire situation annoys me thoroughly. In more ways than one. A lot of people will see this and just be like, oh, it's an Australian complaining that a game he wanted to play is no longer allowed in his country. And that is true. I am annoyed because I did very much want to play this game on stream and enjoy it with a lovely group of people. But my government is now telling me that I am not reasonable for wanting to do that, which is fine, but I know a lot of people who would very much disagree with them. My biggest problem with this is this isn't the first time this has happened. South Park got hacked to crap because they didn't like South Park, but in the TV show it's fine. In the game, that's forbidden. And I just think at this point, the classification board is setting this precedence of, if you have any form of anything mature in your video games, we're going to say no, which will lead indie developers like Red Barrels to not bother. There has been many games that have refused to even try with the classification board already because of their reputation, and the people who are paying the price for this are people like me, Australian gamers. Honestly, this is one of the reasons I don't want to live in Australia anymore. I want to freely access any type of medium I want, within reason. And I don't think that having this goddamn giant wall between us and entertainment is necessary. I feel like you're censoring everything. I'm not gonna play a video game with rape themes in it and then think it's okay. I'm not gonna play a game with violent themes in it and think it's okay. That's ridiculous. And if you honestly think that, you are no better than the people who thought Marilyn Manson's music caused a school shooting. This thing makes me sad, to be honest. So this is the last thing I'm gonna say. If, by any chance, I get a Steam gift from someone, an American friend, anyone who isn't from Australia, that is Outlast 2, I am going to accept that gift, because I don't want to appear as an Australian that I would reject any offer that someone foreign to me is willing to give. And I don't think that I would be a reasonable adult to decline their gift. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, even though it made me very mad and sad. I've wanted to talk about this since it happened, and every time we get something banned over here, it just feels like the government doesn't want anyone playing video games, and that's really sad that they live on this pedestal where they think that their entertainment is better than anyone else's. Alright, well, this is all my opinion. Feel free to discuss in the comment section below. I would love to thank you all for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed or you agree with me, and subscribe for more. Thank you all very much for watching, and toodles.